All right, so Cannonball Run. This story starts way back in about 1981 for me. Me and my friend, God rest in peace, Daryl McIntyre, we planned on doing the Cannonball Run. We talked about it. We looked things up. We followed One Lap America. We actually had a car kind of set up that we were going to want to use for it. But, anyways, high school got over. We didn't have enough money, obviously, at the time. I got into the fire department. I'm stuck with a 30-year career to where if I get pulled over for excessive speed, I'm probably going to lose my job. I have a family now, having to provide. So, anyway, my dream of cannonballing from past movies and crazy TV shows that showed cool guys outrunning the police all day had to come to a halt until I retired, which I did about 3.5, 4 years ago. First thing I did was I started putting together a 2017 Corvette. And then I'm watching VINwiki and I see a gentleman by the name of Troy who had the exact car I was building, and everything I was putting in it started closing in around me. I sold the Corvette. I was like, this can't be done twice. It's got to be a different car. So I'm looking into cars, found me a Cadillac. So I got this 2022 Cadillac. It's a CT 4V Blackwing. And everybody says, why didn't you get the 5? Well, the 4's cheaper. Okay. The 4 gets way better gas mileage. The 5, you might get 125 miles out of a tank of gas. This one, 150 plus for most of the trip, and you're still getting 14, 15 miles to the gallon. It's not necessarily the fastest car. It comes down to a lot of luck. If the stars align, if construction, traffic accidents, weather, if all that's at bay, you can make a good run. We set out to do our first run, and I took my son with me. He's probably my best friend, my cohort, my partner in crime, I guess. As soon as Ed Bolian broke the record, now probably 12, 13 years ago, but I was pretty excited about it. So I instant messaged him, and I'll be damned if he didn't instant message me back. I was like, man, this felt like I was talking to the biggest celebrity in the world, because Cannonball was my life. I kind of told him I wanted to do this, told him a little bit about my story, and I'm sure he's going, oh, this guy's full of crap, because people don't know what it takes to do this sometimes. But anyway, years later, I'm retired. I have this Cadillac. I've got fuel cells. We got some of the equipment that we kind of thought we needed. And me and my son set out to New York from the San Antonio area. 26-hour drive to get there. We slept for 4 to 6 hours, jumped in this car, and we're going, what do we do? There's no green light, no gun to shoot in the air to tell you to start. And now I'm instant messaging Mr. Ed Bolian again going, hey, sorry to bother you, but we're trying to do this. Here's some pictures of the car. We're here. We're at the Red Ball Garage. What do we do? And lo and behold, he answered back again. Thank you, Ed Bolian. But kind of told us what to do, keep receipts, this and that and the other, track our movement across. We had a ton of GPSs because after watching his run, we thought more screens meant more evidence or proof, or however you want to put it. It could be good or bad. So we had plenty of proof to do it. So we set out and we thought, man, when's going to be low traffic? We're like, hey, let's try a Tuesday. Oh man, that was not the smartest move. So we wind up in rush hour traffic in every city now. And so many people think, okay, a 97, 98 mile an hour average, oh, that's weak. Well, when you're driving 2,820 miles and you have every element in front of you, from rain, maybe black ice that we ran into on the mountain on that one, accidents, you name it. And then we got into LA super late, like 6:30 in the morning, and we sat in traffic for hours. But we learned a lot on that first run. I think we ran a 33:16 on that run. We're in traffic, like parked, and I look at my son. I said, you know what? How the hell did we finish this run? So we're texting Ed Bolian again. Okay, go past the guard shack, stop your time, take some pictures. And then we kind of got into the whole Cannonball community, which a lot of people call the fraternity of lunatics, and it absolutely is. Kids, don't try this at home. Went out to do another run. My son could not go. So I picked up a guy we met at the Cannonball reunion in Ohio. We did decent. Wasn't the best run ever, but we did decent. And we left on a better day. Talked to our historian of cannonballing, Jay Roberts, who told me probably the best day to go. And when a lot of records are actually met or broke, or your best times can be met, I'll throw the secret out there, Columbus Day weekend, but it works great. We did that run and I could not believe that the traffic was so light. So we left Red Ball about 1 a.m. on a Sunday, and we got probably around 5 a.m. on Monday morning. We rolled into the Portofino and we ran 30 hours and I think 36 minutes, something like that. Anyway, I was like, I want to go under 30, you know, and everybody's always asking you, what's your goal? My goal is always to break the records, but then I have benchmark goals also along the way. Me and my son, thank God, my co-pilot again, and he is fabulous on a pair of binoculars, and we run highway radar, Waze, you know, he's good with all the tech stuff, and a lot of the drivers switch off, you know, at the gas station or whatever, so the other guy gets a break, but when you're running two people, you don't get a break. So anyway, I just do all the driving because he's better with the tech stuff. And it's not that I'm a better driver than him, but he's better with, hey, highway radar went down. He knows how to restart it, what to do, you know, all the stuff with the computer stuff. And quite frankly, he's just younger, so he's really good at holding a pair of binoculars up for hours on end. Our first run, he had black eyes when we were done. We got a better game plan. We went to a reunion in Connecticut. Super cool. Got to talk to everybody, see everybody. The car now is set up a lot better. It's fitted with everything that you can think of pretty much. You know, laser jammers, radar. We even had, not to dump myself, but we had some policey looking lights on the car. And the only thing that I put on there that a lot of people are real question about is a blackout plate. So I have a blackout plate, and the only reason we used that was, well, we're from Texas. It seems like most people look down on Texans when you're not in Texas. So if I'm going to hit those red and blue lights to get people to move out of my way, I would black my plate out. That way, when I went by them, they were not calling the police to tell them, hey, this black car with this Texas plate with this number just passed us up. So we only did that about 3 times. On this run, we had 0 spotters because they were all in Connecticut at the reunion having a great time. But it was cool because they sent us off, you know, videos talking to us. We went to Manhattan, got ready. Took off, I think about 2 in the morning. Traffic was good all the way to Nebraska. And then we got held up. Then we got to Vail Mountain area. They had a fatality on the mountain. We stopped there for about an hour and a half. And this is where when I say, don't think the 90s to 100, whatever is weak. It's just sometimes you're stopped. When you're running 2,800 miles, things are gonna happen. So you run as fast as you can, as often as you can. Colorado is just fun. We ran this Cadillac, this 6-cylinder twin turbo, no mods on it at all, from the factory Cadillac. Hey Cadillac, if you want to sponsor me and throw me a Cadillac, let me know. This car got 14.4 miles to the gallon. We ran it 187 miles an hour through northern Colorado, Utah, you name it. We come across, and this is why this was my last attempt at this, but I think we used up all 9 lives that any cat could have, because we were told by the record holder that I need to make this car a little more policey looking. So I did. I blacked out all the emblems. We got 3 antennas on the back, which were useful for our scanner, CB radio, that kind of stuff. I got extra lights in the front to illuminate mainly in the mountain areas. And like I said, everything's just blacked out. Then we got the little police lights. You can fold down the visors. You can see them in there. Even if they're not on, you can see them and you're thinking, what's going on? And you can see them in the back window also. The company I have, our emblem is kind of triangle, so we ghosted those on the back and on the fenders. I've heard the truckers on the CB radio say, hey, there's some kind of crazy undercover guy out here. We don't know who it is. But I'm assuming the police maybe thought that too, because I passed at least 3 of them on the way at over 100, waved at them, they waved back at me, and we kept going. One of them waved at me, we took off a little more, he hit on his red and blue lights, turned them off right away. I hit my red and blue lights, turned them off right away, and waved again, and no problem, we're down the road. We had 2 in the median with a radar gun. They lit us up at about 120. We went by, they never came after us. Like I said, we used every life up in this run. We had no spotters, no overwatch. We had nobody to help us. Like I said, they were all at the reunion, except for the one gentleman that has the truck record, and we kind of helped him a little in that deal. John Levi, He spotted for us in Nevada area up to about Vegas, about 250 miles. It was crucial because we found out over there they run K-band radar, which I have eliminated off my radar detector because I get tired of hearing it. And we have laser jammers, so if they're shooting laser, we got that taken care of too. But thank you, John Levi. Great spotting for a couple hundred miles. He did take a video of us. We passed him in Vegas. We're pretty much 100 plus. Anyway, we're cutting over into the HOV lane, this and that, and just we're acting like idiots, you know. And all of a sudden, on the right-hand side, there is a police officer for Vegas, and I hit my brakes. John hits his brakes. We are on the main highway in Vegas, completely stopped on the highway with this police officer about 4 car lengths ahead of us, and he stopped, and there's just traffic coming. And I don't think he knew what to do because he couldn't back up in traffic, but we weren't going forward. And here came a guy around us at excessive speed, and he just took after him, went and gave him a ticket. You can hear John in his video just laughing, going, oh my God, you know, but another lucky break for us. We almost made it to San Bernardino, and we're about halfway there. I'm going, man, we're pushing it hard. The last thing I want to do is run out of gas and not make it in time. You know, it's terrible for a cannonballer to be on the side of the road waiting on AAA with a gas can. So we made one last fuel stop, and that last fuel stop really was detrimental to us. We pulled off, we got gas. Took a little while. We just put it in the main tank because we didn't need that much. We sort of go to get back on the highway, and we're heading back towards Vegas because we were not familiar with this area. So it took us 10 miles out of the way before we get a turnaround. We turned back around. We head back down the road, but seriously, 20 minutes at this time is wasted. My benchmarks was anything under 30 hours to beat Ed Bolian's time with a 28:50, to beat the non-COVID record at a 27 something, and then of course then just do the overall record, which we were completely not contenders at that time anyway. But I'm thinking, man, we might be able to beat my idol Ed Bolian's time. So we're just flying through California. We hit the Crenshaw exit. We go to take a left. We're running red lights. My radar detector goes off, and my son's like, hey, there's police behind you. I'm like, oh damn. And I'm like, we are way too close right now to stop. I mean, we just went. We ran every red light to the Portofino. When we got to the finish line, my son hit the clock, and it's a big bump at the guard shack, and we hit that thing at probably 40 or 50. In fact, because of that, we had a longer time because he couldn't hit the stop on the stopwatch. We pull in instantly. Our Overwatch guy, who we never contacted him at all, but everybody was kind of watching. You know, there's an app that we use. I get a phone call as soon as I hit, and he's like, man, way to go, you know, this and that and the other. And I'm like, okay, hey, Overwatch, I got to go. The police are pulling into the driveway of the Portofino with their lights on, and there's 2 of them. So I instantly pulled over to the hotel, left the door open, car running, ran inside and said, I need to get a room. Security came in, was yelling at me about, you need to park your car and this and that. I was like, sir, I'm going to park my car. I'm getting a room right now. And anyway, it took 10 minutes or so to get a room. I walked back outside. My son's sitting in there. Poor unsuspecting victim didn't know he was going to be left alone with the police. But apparently they walked around the car, asked him where the driver was. He said, I don't know. I can only assume 2 or 3 things. The guys were really cool because they were from Redondo Beach and they know cannonballing. 2, they didn't catch me behind the wheel. And 3, I really don't know why. They were just maybe just a couple of cool cops. I said, what happened? He said, they walked around the car. They asked me where you were. I said, I don't know. And they got in their car and left. We parked the car, got a good night's sleep. We were excited as hell and almost met my second benchmark. We came in with a 28:53. There's only 12 people to ever go under 30 hours. And I'm happy to say that we are number 11 out of everybody, with COVID included. 3 minutes off Ed Bolian's record. Man, what a deal. We're going to take this as a win all day long. If there's any police looking out there watching this video, don't worry, that Cadillac ain't doing that no more, man. We're going to call this one done. Nevertheless, it's been a hell of an experience. The brotherhood is fantastic, and sisterhood. And now we're just going to do fun events. Go to reunions, do little rallies, whatnot. Anyway, if we check that off the old benchmark, nobody really realizes what it takes to go under 30 hours. If you think our average is 97.7 miles per hour, I'm going to tell you it was no small feat getting to that time. Before we got stuck in traffic, we had 116 mile an hour average, and we're on track for a 25-hour run. And because stuff happens in cannonballing for 2,820 miles, well, stuff happens, man. I just have to be under 30. So anyway, that's my cannonball story, and thanks for watching.
This month of VINwiki content is brought to you by Premier Financial Services, and they are the perfect partner in your journey to own your dream car because their Simple Lease is the most powerful tool in the world of exotic car financing. You'll get all the benefits of a leasing structure like lower payments and better tax treatment, along with everything we love about a normal exotic car loan where you can trade in and out at any time, always know where you stand thanks to their amortization table, and accumulate equity for whenever you're finished and ready for the next car. And Premier is great because they're wholly owned and backed by First Financial Bank, which means they have more buying power than any other exotic car bank or collector car bank in the United States, and their customer service is unmatched. Also, rates are lower than they have been in a very, very long time, so it's never been a better time to reach out to Premier, talk to their representatives, learn what you can pre-qualify for, and let them help you own the car of your dreams with Premier Financial Services.